All righty. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you? You got a full beard now?
Yeah, try something different. Try COVID brought something out of it.
That makes your running backs go faster, then you'll do it, right?
Exactly, whatever it's going to take.
What is the focus for your group this spring?
Just making plays, playing with confidence, definitely taking advantage of our one-on-one matchups and being decisive in the run game. We've got to improve, our running game, and we're a large part of that. So we want to make sure we understand the schemes, and that's on me as a coach to explain it in a way that the guys can understand. If that means walking them through on the field before practice, whatever it takes. But they've got to understand the importance that they have in the running game and in protection. I mean, we're going to throw the football, and we've got to be firm in protection. So just really becoming complete football players is the focus of the spring.
How did you evaluate Xander's season last year?
I actually thought he did a really good job. I saw him make tremendous strides, especially in his ability to make defenders miss. I think that was the biggest jump that I saw in his game. At a certain point in the season, I saw he was like first in the Big Ten in forced missed tackles, which, there's something to be said about that. And, of his 400 and however many yards he finished the season with, I believe I saw a stat where over 300 of those yards were yards after contact, which tells you something about his effort and just relentlessness to be able to get and squeeze every inch out of every carry. And, he's really done a great job of just taking all the coaching points. And he's always in here, one of the first guys in, one of the last guys out. And, he caught the ball very well last year. I mean, he really impacted us in the passing game. So I thought he really made tremendous strides overall in his game. And I told him, I said, what you did last year doesn't really matter. You've got to work to take it up and level up another notch for the upcoming season. So he's taking that and he's doing a good job.
His athleticism seemed to come out a lot last year. And how do you build on that now going into spring and then next fall?
I think that he's always had a lot of athleticism and so certainly that was on display at times last season, him hurdling guys and things of this nature, and kind of it was neat to see. But I think he's got, a variety of ways to win his one-on-one matchups. And I don't think he tries to hurdle everyone. He's got a spin move. I mean, he's got an aggressive shoulder. He's got a hop cut, a jump cut. I mean, there's some tools that we put in his toolbox that I think he has at his disposal. Really, the main thing with Xander that I'd like to see from him growth this spring, it would be just becoming a more efficient player in the short yardage and goal line situations. Need to see him run harder with more conviction, more physicality in those areas, and find a way to get in the end zone more. I told him, I said, for you to have 89 carries last year, two touchdowns is not enough. That's insufficient. We need more production from you in that department. So, and he's a kid. He's a conscientious kid. He's really working on that, and he's taking it to heart this spring.
King Garu is a guy that didn't get on the field early, but finally did. And where's his next step at to give you a good complement back there of a 1-2 running back punch?
I think it's him. It's just gaining confidence. I mean, he's had a couple injuries, in the last couple seasons. It seems to be there's always something that kind of prevents him from maybe playing the full season or playing the full season healthy. And so that's something that we're working on. And he's done a really good job over the offseason, really just trying to hone in on his body and making sure he's being proactive with his body and taking care of it. But the main area of his game that he's really got to improve is the third level. Right now, the third level is his nemesis. I mean, he's having a hard time defeating the safety. And so that's something that we really harped on this offseason. And during spring ball, we're working those open field moves every day, just trying to be more effective in the open field and playing faster through the line of scrimmage. There's times where he's a little unsure of himself and he's taking too long in the backfield, taking too long to get out of the box. And when he's decisive and he plays with conviction, then he's tough. He's tough to bring down. He can really get going and become a problem. But it's just playing with confidence and winning at the third level.
Just personally, how did you deal with COVID last year and just trying to stay safe, keep everybody safe around you? And what kind of stress did that put on you as an individual last year?
Quite a bit. I think we all have had our own concerns with it all, and you know, I had a couple guys in my room lose family members to COVID, and it really rocked them. You know, you have to understand that, you know, as a grown man, it's tough enough, but when you're dealing with 17 to 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds at times, I mean, that can be a little, especially when they're home. So, you know, I had to grow up. I had to show courage for my players. It was difficult. It was a very trying year, but I definitely think that we grew from that experience, and we're still looking to grow, each individual, collectively as a unit. But you know, this COVID, we're here, and we're going to continue to find ways to. We're not going to let it slow us down in our development. So you know, we're just going to keep chugging along and find ways to improve every day.
Okay, this question has been on my mind since December. If you guys would have played the last game against IU, who was going to be your running backs?
Myself. No, you know,
me, myself, and I.
Yes, but no, it probably would have been Lewis. You know, he was about the only one that I had left at that stage. But he was like a kid in the kid, couldn't wait. And you know, I told him, I say, hey, man, if you ever get in trouble, just tap your helmet. I'll go in and give you a couple reps. You know, but numbers were low for sure.
Yeah, it was just odd seeing 3 running backs warm up in your last game against Nebraska.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Chris.
Hey,
No
Tom.
problem.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Is everybody healthy?
Yeah, I think we are. You know, we're getting Xander back. He had an obligation today, but no, I think we're healthy. We're all healthy and ready to rock and roll.
Expecting from Hewitt. He really
Yes.
he hasn't cracked the rotation. He's been on campus for a couple of years, and I really thought, given Horvath was the only back who carried the ball for about the first 2 games, I thought maybe Dejan would get out there, kind of give us a progress report on him.
No, he's doing a good job. I mean, he's a guy that was needed to develop a little bit more, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some guys develop a little bit later, some guys develop earlier, but he's a guy that just needed a little bit more time in the oven, if that, so to speak, to bake and get him ready. But I think that he's doing a good job. I saw a lot of progress. We saw a lot of progress from him towards the latter part of the season. He really started to make some strides, and I think it started with his body composition. I think he was carrying a little bit too much weight early on in his career. You know, just wanting to make sure that he has the necessary mass to be effective in the Big Ten. But at the same time, I told him that his asset has really got to be his speed. He's more of a slasher type of back. So we've really worked on to find a comfortable number for him from a weight standpoint. And I saw him move around. He looked twitchier. He looked quicker and all those things. So we're excited about him. And he was out there today, did a good job. And so we're excited about his development as he moves forward.
Hey, how come things didn't work out for Tyrik Murphy?
You know, that's a question you might have to ask him. I think that he's another guy that, you know, he had a death in his family that really rocked his family structure. And I know that really their family became very about things at that stage. And I think it became a situation where he just felt that he needed to be a little bit closer to home. And so, you know, I told him I support him in whatever he, you know, decides to do and what his pursuits. But, you know, I can't speak for him. I think that he just he really needed to kind of reset and recalibrate and maybe find something a little closer to home.
Is Downing on campus going through spring football, the UNLV transfer?
Absolutely.
How's he looking?
Looks good.
Tell us a little bit about his style, Chris. What type of back he is and what you expect.
You know, it's interesting. He's kind of he's a physical back, but he's got good hands and he can shift his weight. I mean, he's not the most elusive guy in the world, but he does a good job attacking edges on guys and knowing the defense's weaknesses. He's a pretty smart player. That's one thing that's really stood out to me is he takes things from the classroom to the field very well. You don't really have to say things more than once to him. and he digests it, and he can go ahead and make the adjustments. And so he's a very savvy football player, and he's a load. I mean, he kind of plays with a good base. He's a sturdy runner, very thick thighs, thick down low, got a good bubble, and he does a good job, I think, just understanding concepts, understanding blocking angles. And he just, like I said, he plays with a really good base. He's really sturdy in between the tackles. That's been a good thing to see, as well as his vision. I think that the first day really kind of stood out to us was this kid has really good vision. He anticipates holes opening up really well. So, I mean, there's a chance. I mean, the kid is shown some good things here. Got to clean him up in pass protection. He's decent, but got to clean him up a little bit in pass protection. But we're excited to have him.
And then what are you going to do at fullback with Alfred Armour gone? Are you even going to have a fullback? Is anybody trying to play that role for you?
Probably too many guys trying to play fullback right now. There's a lot of young men are vying for the job and constantly coming up to me asking, Coach, can I get a shot to play some fullback? So we've got quite a few options there. I mean, we'll still utilize. I think Jack Kravak's got a chance. He did some of that for us last year. He's a long body with long limbs, and he's physical. So he understands the concepts. He's a pretty sharp kid in the playbook. So we're excited about him being able to give us some flexibility at that position, as well as tight end. But we've got some numbers there. We're taking a look at some guys this spring for sure.
And just last question. I know he's not there yet, but can your freshman back from Arkansas, Cross, help you at all this fall, you think?
That's to be determined. I think that it's hard for me to make predictions on guys and then, things maybe not work out that way. But I'm excited about his skill set. He's a pretty smart kid as well. I mean, we're already meeting and going over things, but he understands concepts. He has a lot of receiver in his background. So I'm excited about his skill set. I mean, he's going to be different than the rest of these kids that we have here now from a standpoint of he's an elusive guy. He's a get him in space and watch him go type of guy. But he's also caught a lot of passes in high school. So he understands routes and how to set the routes up to have success, and not just out of the backfield, but downfield as well. He tracks the ball really well. And he can help us in the return game as well. So, I mean, I'm excited about, what he's going to provide, just because he is going to be different than what we've had around here in a while. And so certainly I think that he's going to need to, certainly embrace the weight room and increase his strength to be very consistently effective in the Big Ten. But no, we're excited about him. I think that, with the way we maximize splits and play fast, it'll create some field space for him to be able to operate and do some things, make some big plays.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Stephen, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any questions at all for the players either? Stephen?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.